TPN, the Sovereign Americans News Network. Welcome to Tea Party News. Thanks for tuning in. Tennessee House Speaker Kent Williams is a perfect example of the professional politician we don't want as a Tea Party member. His conspiratorial ascension to his current position is Arlen Specter-esque, working with whatever party that can help them maintain their public paycheck and their power aspirations. Now, for those of you who don't know who Speaker Williams is, he was stripped of his Republican credentials for conspiring with the Democrats to beat the GOP nominee by one vote for Speaker of the House in Tennessee. Now, having said that, we respect his dizzying honesty in regards to not attending the Tea Party convention by asserting his desire to be in control, stating, quote, "The least you belong to, the least you can be kicked out of," as reported by the AP. We at the Tea Party News simply do not trust 99.999997% of all professional politicians. These are people who suckle from the public coffers like automatic milking machines factory farms use, draining the dumbed-down, antibiotic growth hormone-infested public of their freedom and assets, with only one mission: more, more, more. If the Tea Party movement is to succeed, it has to be without the help of Republicans or Democrats. Professional Republicans have been pushing themselves on this movement, trying to capitalize on the momentum, while quietly steering it back to the topic that they know best, and that is greed. Greed for money, greed for power, greed for control. And this disingenuous soundbite politics that keep the American citizen delegated to the debt slave status that they've been in since 1913, with the founding of the Fed and the IRS. Take this Tea Party convention, for example. It's been promoted and funded at the top from a Republican lobby office in Washington, D.C., with profit, power, and control as its mission statement, instead of an independent, unbiased, nonpartisan, not-for-profit, grassroots council of citizens. And where do they hold it at? At the same overpriced resort that the Republicans held their retreat in previously. That's just typical professional Washington insider stuff. Now add to that a dash of Sarah Palin, who is reportedly receiving $100,000 for her quote-unquote keynote speech. She's been collecting a public paycheck as a Republican for years, choosing to align herself with that professional political organization. She just sold over 2 million books and has a contract with Fox News. Does she need the money? And is it deserved? Absolutely not. And it serves as a prime example of what cannot be allowed to continue. The pros who have imposed themselves on this movement are wholly unwelcome. They run counter to all that this movement stands for. Republicans remain steadfast in their loyalty to their double-talking ways, as do the Democrats. Both parties are more interested in their particular party's dominance. The truth of the Constitution rarely sees the light of day, and maybe it's dying from lack of sunlight, as humans can from lack of vitamin D3. We are living in an exceedingly convoluted society where the most powerful corporate interests are so entwined with, part of, hired from, and into the federal government. Same interests that control all of the so-called mainstream mass media, including newspapers. Allowing people who are paid political professionals to take over this movement will only result in failure. The total loss, inevitably, all inalienable rights, in exchange for the rights granted by the government. It all comes back to states' rights, which means the Tea Party movement must make moves on state capitals. This means local citizens getting involved at the local state level, taking over state senates and legislatures. Only then will we truly be in a place to stop the ever-quickening trip to insanity that this corporate and banker-controlled federal government is on. The Constitution places the power in us, not the government, and it's time to take it back using the 10th Amendment and nullification. Sadly, current local state elected reps are just little mini-me versions of that national professional politicians we've been electing for nearly 100 years now, and most have no understanding of what a republic is, and a pretend grasp of the Constitution, like Virginia State Senator Henry Marsh of Richmond, who is an attorney of record, he says, and has litigated for some 50 years in the Fourth Circuit and the Supreme Court, but yet he doesn't understand the Constitution. Here's what he said the other day in an interview with Lou Dobbs about countering mandates for for health care from the Congress through states' rights legislation.
How can a state senate tell Congress what to do?
Well,
if Congress passes legislation, it's going to preempt us from doing anything. And I voted against it because it's nothing but a political ploy. Well, I'm just disturbed that we will waste our time down here passing something that's unconstitutional. How can the state tell the federal government what to do?
Notice how he asks questions like he doesn't know the answer? Well, he said it's unconstitutional. You would think that means that he read it, but if he did, he would know about the 10th Amendment, as well as its well-defined power structure.
Well, you know what? Somebody needs to tell the federal government what to do, don't you think, Senator Marsh? These folks are out of control there in Washington.
The caller just after the interview wanted to reach out and strangle him for his ignorance or his deceit, whichever one it happens to be, that keep him and many like him in power. Maybe it's just citizens who are now getting free cell phones from the government, who are mostly the same ones who didn't pay anything in, but keep getting those big fat checks from the IRS that all those loan shark companies remind us of with their insidious rapid refund schemes. Be that as it is, with a just and true republic, 99% of the populace would prosper, meeting all of their own needs without any government interference whatsoever. There'd be no taxes on their property, they'd be able to keep things, there's no taxes on your wages. That's why this professionalism politics has to be the first thing to go, before true liberty is ever to have a chance to ring again. Tea Party News calls for all sovereign citizens of the respective states to speak in unity on this matter. Let's keep this a truly citizen-driven, non-partisan, non-profit, government-reducing, republic-restoring, ground-up movement of the people and for all the people. Thank you and good day to you and yours. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe and share. TPN, the Sovereign Americans News Network.